thought we might go out tomorrow night.
Why? Because we haven't been out in a while.
Yes, it would be a nice change.
Okay. But I don't want to go to that weird Bavarian restaurant again.
Fine, we can go somewhere else.
Or we could just stay home.
No!
Okay, just checking. Communicating is really important in relationships, and not just in intimate relationships, in relationships with everyone in your life. Your family, your teachers, your friends, even the bus driver. You have relationships with all these people, and communicating well with them requires a bunch of different skills. We're going to look at 4 of them: perspective taking, assertiveness, negotiating, and resolving conflict. This means simply looking at things from the other person's point of view. Problems often occur when we assume other people have the same view of things as us. For instance...
So I thought we could go out tomorrow night.
Why? I like vegging out at home, and I assumed Bennett did too, but when I put myself in her shoes, I realised, well, we've spent the last 39 nights at home. It might be nice to get out for a change. Now, perspective taking sounds easy, but it can be surprisingly tough to do. Sometimes you need to try and put yourself in roles you may never have played in your own life, like your teachers or your bosses or your parents, and try and understand why that other person is thinking the way they do. In lots of situations where there is a bit of a disagreement, people often respond in one of 3 major ways: aggressively, passively, or assertively. Aggressive people try to dominate others or to make others do what they want. Sometimes they can be loud and overbearing, sometimes they can even be intimidating or violent.
I want a romantic night or else!
Okay, whatever you say. See, there I go, that's being passive. Passive people try to avoid conflict by just agreeing with other people and putting their own wishes aside. Passive people are often pretty shy and may think that they aren't strong enough to hold up to another person's aggression.
I'm ready for a foot rub.
Bennett, I'm working. When you expect me to drop everything, I think you don't care about my needs and I feel upset. You'll just have to wait.
Okay.
Being assertive is another way to say sticking up for yourself. Assertive people don't just let other people dominate them. Being assertive is not the same as being aggressive. Assertive people try to achieve reasonable win-win outcomes when they're dealing with others. Here are some tips. Think about the other person's motives. Explain how the other person's actions affect you. Make eye contact and use a firm but pleasant voice. Look for a win-win solution. And let the other person respond. Oh, and very importantly, speak to yourself helpfully. Don't be self-defeating. I have my rights too. Bennett, I know you want a foot rub, but when you're demanding, I think you were taking me for granted, and I feel annoyed. I'll give you a foot rub when it doesn't affect my work, and I hope that in return, you'll open this for me?
Deal.
Okay, I can see you want to go out with me more, but I need my own space too. Now, I've thought about this and I'm thinking we can also spend Friday afternoons together, but I need Sunday afternoons for myself. Is this a bad time to talk? There will be lots of times in your life where you will need to try and negotiate a good outcome for yourself. It could be negotiating with your parents for permission to go to a party. It could be negotiating the price of a lamp at a garage sale. Even working out a good time to see a DVD with friends that isn't going to ruin your study. Knowing what the other person wants from the situation is really important. Don't just state what you want, explain why that outcome is important to you. If you think about the negotiation beforehand, you'll be able to have some options up your sleeve in case your preferred solution isn't acceptable. Negotiation is not a slanging match. It can be quickly derailed if all you're thinking about is proving the other person wrong. Try to pick a good time to negotiate. Bad times are when one or both parties are angry or preoccupied or stressed or tired. So if you want permission from a parent for something, it's probably a bad idea to hit them up the minute they walk in the door from work or after the dog has just tracked mud all over the new rug. Oh, come on! Negotiation. It's a two-way street. It's just so selfish. If it's running low, let me know and I'll go get some more, instead of going to make myself a sandwich and discovering this. Did you even think of me? Now go to the store and get some more. Conflict. In our relationships with others, the occasional conflict is inevitable. It could be over having to share a room with a sibling, or being on a sports team or work shift with someone that you don't like. But the conflict itself is not a problem, it's how you handle it that's important. Remember, you're trying to resolve conflict, so things will be a lot more effective if you go in calm instead of angry. Now, I know you'll have lots to get off your mind, but you have to be prepared to listen too. It's really important that you both understand why you disagree, so it might help to ask the other person some questions about their point of view, and then be forthright and explain your own reasons and feelings. The tougher the conflict, the more time it's likely to take to sort out. So allow a good chunk of time convenient for both of you to talk about the issue in detail. To try and avoid just getting into an argument, allow time to let the other person have their say and try not to interrupt them when they're speaking. Then, make sure they give you the courtesy of listening to you. Sometimes you need help to resolve a disagreement. Asking a third person to act as a mediator can be a really good idea, and that third perspective is often healthy. Friends, counsellors, psychologists and youth workers are people who you might consider as mediators. Seeking help from a mediator can be super important when it comes to your own safety. If you reckon the other person might be abusive or violent, you should consider getting help from a mediator. Wow, there you have it. Heaps of tips for resolving conflicts. Remember, stay calm, consider the other person's perspective, be firm but polite, but if worst comes to worst, agree to disagree. Oh, come on. Lexi, we have got to talk.